38 stand part of the bill? Lord Moylan.
I rise to move that Clause 38 do not stand part of the bill. My purpose in doing so is not to enter a radical objection to Clause 38, but rather to raise a debate and to hear what the Minister has to say on the points I would like to make. What the clause does is allow the Secretary of State to set a deadline for inquiries to be conducted and concluded. It is a flexible deadline in that the Secretary of State can, as I understand the clause, subsequently amend the deadline and extend it so that it can be made longer. And with the purpose of trying to speed up consents, that may appear on the face of it to be a very sensible measure. But I just want to draw a lesson from history here, and that is to go back to 2008 and the Planning Act, which introduced the Development Consent Order. And one of the features of the Development Consent Order was that the inquiry phase was going to be very limited. It was going to be 6 months by statute, unless it was extended. So exactly the same approach was used all the way back in 2008 in relation to DCOs. Has that resulted in DCOs being shorter processes? No, it hasn't. It hasn't resulted in DCOs being shorter processes. What it has effectively done is required all the work preparatory to the inquiry to be front-loaded and carried out and presented to the inspectors before the inspectors will agree to open the inquiry, because until they open it, the clock doesn't start running, so the 6-month limit doesn't apply. And so, in effect, this approach has failed. It's failed in relation to DCOs. In fact, it could be argued that it has made DCOs a slower method of acquiring permission than a Transport and Works Act order currently is. Because in order to get to the point where the inspectors are willing to start the inquiry, one has to produce every conceivable document they might require, resulting in sometimes hundreds of thousands of pages having to be produced in order to get an inquiry started. Whereas under the older system, using Planning Act powers, where documents could be pulled in later, although the overall process lasted quite a long time, it didn't require quite as much paper as is currently required by the DCO process. So I offer that lesson from history as, not even history, because we're living with DCOs today, I offer that as a cautionary tale, and I wonder to what extent the Minister has taken account of that and isn't, in fact, doing something here which is seductively attractive and would achieve something we'd all like to see, but in practice is going to slow up the whole process. I beg to move.